Welcome to The Jung and the Restless. I'm Olivia.
I'm Victor.
And I'm Zach. And this is the podcast where all pasta shapes taste the same.
Beautiful.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I dreamt I had a soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, will that dream just go on for its own sake?
I find that day one after no sleep, I'm like so on it. Those are my best days. Then 2 days of no sleep, that's bad news.
Yeah.
I feel physically ill.
How you doing after like 20, 30 days
That's
of
a
no
good
sleep?
question. We'll find out.
Maybe you come full circle to the one day.
Yeah.
I think that's
Maybe.
just called mania.
I think the key is to take like a lot of naps if you can.
You're good at those, right?
Yeah. We'll see how I am when there's a baby around, though.
And when can you go back on your Adderall? When you're done breastfeeding?
I don't think there's not a lot of drugs that you can't take while breastfeeding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, surprisingly. But I don't trust that. Actually, now that I say it, that doesn't sound right. I know that is correct technically, like medically. There's only a couple of things that they're like, you can't breastfeed on this. But it all goes into your breast milk, so
Yeah.
baby does not need stimulants.
Little meth in their milk.
It's worth doing a little digging to see like why it's okay, you know?
Yeah. No, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've gotten increasingly distrustful of that kind of thing.
They're lying to us.
Mm.
I assumed you would have like already had a time frame, like know exactly when you can get back on your.
Dude, I don't know
Adderall.
what the fuck is going on at any point in time.
Yeah, you seem so out of sorts when you first went off the Adderall.
I'm
But-
still out of sorts.
Yeah, she's not any more sorted than she was.
So you're not just like counting down the days when you can.
I can't count.
Well, that's fair. You
No.
were right, by the way, about Adderall. Shelby got a refill the other day and was talking to somebody.
About it not working?
Yeah, I think it was the pharmacist she was talking to.
Yeah, dude.
Mm.
They're cutting it with something.
Yeah,
This-
she was talking to somebody in the field.
What'd they say?
That a lot of the off-brand, like the generic stuff, it's a known thing that it wasn't working for a lot of people who were on the generic stuff.
Mm.
we were thinking it's because maybe they were using like cheaper filler ingredients or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Or like
it was something.
just couldn't get something that they needed or whatever.
Yeah, it was something along those lines that I think maybe caused people to like develop a tolerance to it, so it like became less effective over time or something like that.
That was like literally a year ago is when I started feeling out of sorts. It was last fall. My Adderall has not worked since then. And then I've just been off it for the last 6 months.
Yeah, well, you have been validated. I should have wrote down what Shelby said about it, because this was like a couple weeks ago.
It's like breaking news. You need to tell the people.
Yeah, get the name brand Addy.
Mm.
It's no joke. Like I've been suffering.
Yeah, it'll fuck up your life. People like lose their jobs and shit. It's like you need that medication.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It sounds like it would be hard to get a lot of types of jobs done without it.
I crashed the car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that was just a funny delivery of that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
First Victor fell down the stairs,
Yep.
and now Olivia's crashed
Mercury's in retrograde.
Is it still? I think I saw that's past.
Oh,
But
maybe it
maybe
hit us on a delay.
Yeah.
It actually all started when Victor fell down the stairs. It's been all downstairs from there.
the car. You just kicked off a chain of bad luck. How did you crash the car?
Well, so I was driving it,
I
and then
assume you're okay.
I'm fine. But it was weird. Like last week, we saw so many car crashes on one day. It was like we saw 5 car crashes, and one of them happened right in front of us. And then And then I kept saying like, oh, I'm like all worried about getting a car crash now. Seems like the universe is sending signs about car crashes. And then
you self-fulfilled.
and then I was driving the car, and then suddenly there was a car right in front of me stopped. It was like my brain fully just farted out like for a second. I couldn't see, I don't know. It was like 1 minute I was driving, and then the next minute I was crashing.
That is how they tend to work.
It's not funny, but like it was weird. It felt like I don't know. I felt like I had a brain malfunction.
Were you in the car, Victor?
No.
Yeah,
No, I was just at home while she was running to grab lunch. But the lunch never came.
See how you're already affecting him, Olivia. So is the car in the shop, or how bad was it?
Well,
it's a problem. It's like drivable, but the turn signal's out, and the driver's side door opens, but everything's all bent out of shape and busted up and beat to shit, and yeah, it's not great. And it'll be at least a month before I can get it into a shop anywhere, from what I can tell.
How fast were you going? It sounds like you accordioned the door to be small, like the door hole is now too small for the door.
Just like the frame is like, or I don't know. I don't know car parts.
Next time, don't even veer. Just hit full on with the mid of the bumper.
Would that have been better?
Into the bumper of the other car. I don't know. I don't know, but whatever did happen.
I thought I could maybe avoid hitting the car altogether, but
you tried to veer, and that's why you hit like the driver's side.
Yeah,
half of it.
I mean, the important thing is nobody got hurt. It's like a low impact little collision.
You're fine. Did the cops
Baby's
come?
fine.
Did they find anyone at fault?
No, I was at fault. No, the cops did not come.
Yeah. I have not been to find some fucking wood to knock on. I have not caused an accident since 2009.
See, that's what I was saying. I was talking all about that. I was like, I used to get into fender benders. That hasn't happened in so long.
Yeah, I bet.
And you said, I better find some wood to knock on. But she never did.
I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I hope this fucking IKEA, whatever, plaster wood or whatever this is called, the wood that they recomposite from sawdust, I hope this counts as wood because I'm knocking on it.
There's wood in it, probably.
I've been in tons of little fender benders, but none that were my fault.
Liv, you were correct. It says here, technically, Mercury in retrograde was from August 23rd until Thursday, September 14th, but you can feel it 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after.
Just like a period.
So technically, the feeling it period ends tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day.
Oh, well, thank fucking God.
Just don't leave this room until then.
We're having our baby shower on
the
Sunday.
1st, yeah.
I was going to make some dumb joke, but don't you want to wait for it to be born to give it a shower? That's what that joke deserved.
Funny.
Just acknowledgement. Yeah, like a bathing shower.
Yes, very good.
Acknowledge what you did there. Yeah, two car accidents that happened to me that were not my fault happened right after the first time I got a new car. Like,
man.
The first time in my life that I put a down payment on a vehicle and got something from that decade, and then I immediately get hit twice in a month.
Ah, man. Were you nice about it? Or were you mean? Like, hey.
I was nice to the first lady because she was like a single mom. She had like 3 kids in the car, and I was just glad they were okay. I don't know. She seemed sweet, but the second guy, I was really pissed because I
You should have seen. No. Well, when I got into this car wreck, I like came out of the car, and this lady was gonna yell at me, but then she saw me, and she saw that I'm very pregnant, and she saw that I was like shaking, and she's like, "Well, don't shake. When are you due?"
All right, don't. But yeah, I've had that. You were talking about like how car accidents felt like they were in the air, like the universe was sending you signs. One time I was driving on the highway, and I was listening to an album on shuffle and a song came on about car crashes. And at that moment, an ex-girlfriend that I hadn't talked to in a couple years called me to tell me that she just woke up from a dream where I died in a car accident on the highway. And she was really worried about me, and I immediately pulled over. I was like, I don't think I can finish going where I was going. And I took side roads the rest of the way home.
And that day you cheated fate.
No, it's coming back for me, like Final Destination.
I can hear this banjo when I talk, so...
Do you want to play us a lick?
You want to...
Do you want to lick us a play?
I was going to say that, but I didn't think it made sense.
It doesn't have to make sense.
What do you mean? You can hear your voice reverberating through the drum of the banjo?
Yeah, do you want it out of the room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it sounded cool, though.
Keep this in.
Maybe it gave your voice like a cool bluegrass twang.
It might have.
Does Victor play the banjo?
Casually.
Yeah, me too. I have a banjo, but I don't know what I'm doing. I've just used
Same with him, I think.
I just used it to record like a few banjo parts, but like I had to really like write out and practice my banjo parts because I can't just pick up a banjo and play it like a guitar. It has to be very premeditated and rehearsed.
Is it okay? I think a ukulele is just the top 4 strings of a guitar.
It is.
I don't know.
Is a
on the
banjo
fifth
tune
fret.
the same way? I can't remember. I know there's the weird like string halfway up the instrument that's like gonna throw a wrench in that. But is
With
it
the
the same
banjo?
tuning as a ukulele?
No, I don't think it is. I
it
think
different?
but it's like open tuning though, right? Like it's a
That's how I keep my banjo tune. It's like an open G.
yeah.
I think it's maybe the same. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know if the standard tuning is different than that or whatever, but
I'm not sure. I know a mandolin is like an upside down guitar.
oh, really?
Yeah, it's G, D, A, E.
Well, that would fuck with me.
No. So you got to play chords backwards.
Or upside down, however you want to look at it.
It's awful. It's awful.
But if you just play it with your other hand though, is it a guitar?
Oh, maybe. I never tried that. I also don't think I could do that. I think the pick would...
Yeah, that sounds harder than just learning new chords.
My left hand is really dumb.
I am left-handed, but I play the conventional way, which I think has really affected my songwriting because I feel like I'm really like chord change focused, and then I do like the same 3 things with my strum pattern all the time.
Wait.
Because my right hand is too stupid to do anything complicated, but my left hand can be doing like weird chord changes.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. I was having to like flip it, picture a guitar upside down for me. Yeah, I don't feel like I could strum anything intricate.
Yeah, I can't. And I'm done trying. I feel like with artistic stuff, it's like you'll go through, like, you'll hit a phase where, like, you're trying to do complicated stuff for the sake of doing complicated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll kind of break through that to, like, just doing, like, what you're interested in, even if it is, like, deceptively simple or whatever. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. No, totally. That was me in high school. I practiced guitar for, like, 8 hours a day for, like, 2 years.
Which 8 hours?
As soon as I got home from school until whenever I went to bed.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I could shred for a while. I mean, I'm still competent, but it's like bodybuilding where if you don't go to the gym that much anymore, you'll still, be like pretty fit, but those muscles will deflate.
I have never shredded in any context. There's no kind of shredding I've ever done. Never shredded on the guitar. I've never been shredded. I've never done any kind of shredding whatsoever.
Yeah, but to your point, that's what I was like hyper focused on in high school. Is I got really into Buckethead and Steve Vai and just wanted to be able to play fast and impress people at my school and accomplish that. But then I don't know. I was trying to go to Berklee College of Music, and I might have talked about this on the pod. I can't remember if it came up in the context of a dream or not. But I went to like Berklee Guitar Week down in Boston. It's like a camp, and got placed in all the hardest classes. I just got real like jaded, I guess. We went to like some recital to watch a Berklee grad play. It was actually supposed to be Mick Thompson. He's this guitar player for Slipknot, but his plane got delayed in Iowa. And so a Berklee alum came instead. And he just talked about how all he did was practice. He talked about like getting up early in the morning and practicing for X number of hours. And he had like my dream guitar, a Parker Fly Mojo. And yeah, he could tear it up. He could play really fast, but that kind of seemed like that's what his music was about. Like that's all it was. And I was like, oh my God, on the trajectory I'm on, that's going to be me. I'm going to be $320 in debt from Berklee College of Music. $320,000. It's like $80,000 a semester.
Oh wow.
Or a year.
That's still.
Yeah, it's insane for a music degree. I mean, a lot of people drop out because they get good jobs. But anyway, yeah, that was an important day in my life. I was going to that recital and realizing that, like, if my whole life is music, then what's my music going to be about?
Sure. What are the good jobs you get dropping out of Berklee College of Music? What's the pipeline for that look like?
I think for most people, it's like either being a studio musician or playing in like a touring act. So, when you go to see like a big pop act, like, at a stadium or whatever, if it's like whoever big name is coming to your town, they have like a huge band behind them, I feel like that's what a lot of Berklee grads are doing, stuff like that. But
that makes sense.
I mean, some of them are John Mayer. One of them was John Mayer.
He's a Berklee grad?
No, he dropped out.
Several dozen are John Mayer.
Several dozen.
Berklee is proud to produce their second dozenth John Mayer.
No, I think he dropped out because he started touring and got a record deal or whatever. But yeah, that place is insane. It's like at the time that I did a go audition, and the power went out during my audition, and that felt like a sign. My heart wasn't in it. And by that time I had decided I don't think I wanted to do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at the time they had like, it was something like an 8% acceptance rate for guitar players and like a 87% dropout rate.
Just imagining spending all like those years, like 8 hours a day, learning how to like absolutely shred and like to be like your heroes playing like metal music, to then get a job like backing Taylor Swift playing like simple chord progressions.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, they take so
really pays well.
They take so few guitar students. I mean,
that makes sense.
I think the move is to, if you play something else like trumpet or trombone or something.
Real money's in two guitars at the same time.
But anyway, I'm not sure how I went down that memory lane.
Just move my body while you tell your dream.
Oh, okay. All right. So there might be some groaning happening. Yeah, okay. Are we just diving into a dream? I got something.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up because I don't actually remember it. Let me whip it out. Okay. This is what I have written down. I don't really remember this, but it'll probably come back to me as I'm telling it. I do remember it's funny. I was in Target or something like it. It's a Saturday. I'm here for a meeting or something. I'm from out of town. Details are hazy. I said he. Okay. Details are hazy. A song comes on. It is a Billy Joel song. Not someone I'm a fan of, really. I like kind of know their music, kind of, right? But in the dream, I was like, oh, Billy Joel. And he sings about spaghetti in one of his songs, and I'm like, huh, funny. And then I'm like, oh, he must have a thing for spaghetti. And then I'm like in the grocery store, and I start shopping for stuff to make spaghetti, and I like bump into Billy Joel. And I'm like, hey, you're the guy from the spaghetti song, and you're here buying spaghetti stuff. How funny, right? And then I go on a date that I don't remember all that well, but I remember I made like really classy spaghetti, and the date went well. Everything was good. And then I'm like back at the Target, and it feels like a day or two has passed. It feels like I'm like in from out of town, and I just kind of have to be there for a couple of days. Okay. So then I'm like back in the Target. I'm just kind of shopping around, and I end up in like kind of like a knickknack aisle. And then as I'm looking at it, I realize like, oh, this is like spaghetti stuff. This is all like spaghetti knickknacks. And I bump into Billy Joel again. It's like, you're just all about spaghetti. You're everywhere that spaghetti is. And like at this point, I feel like it's a problem that Billy Joel is so into spaghetti. Like that it's like caught, like that I feel a little like put off by it. And then I remember there's like a second date that happens, and in this one I feel like I was with somebody that was like an analog of Olivia. Like it felt like, okay, like the first date I don't really remember if that felt like a relationship or not. I don't really remember the context of that. The second date definitely felt like I was like with an Olivia, but looked different. I don't remember like the context if I got there or whatever. But that date, it was like I was definitely like off-putting to her, and she was alarmed at how into spaghetti I was. And like I had like a series of spaghetti mishaps, and I remember trying to explain that it wasn't me, it was like Billy Joel's fault that all of the spaghetti stuff had been happening. And I feel like my date Olivia had like got it by the end and was like, oh, okay, I get you, it's just Billy Joel. And then I feel like, yeah, I was like disheveled, like things had gone wrong for me, and I like had left that, and like somehow I had like spaghetti like kind of like smeared on my hand, and I was like, oh god, like I gotta get the spaghetti off of me. And I remember like stumbling around trying to like orient myself, and then I end up like stopping at a water fountain to take a drink. And as I'm drinking from this water fountain, I feel this slurping on my hand, and I see that Billy Joel has run up and licked the spaghetti off of my hand and then run off. And I'm like, you got a problem, Billy Joel.
Addicted to spaghetti.
I didn't mean to yell into the microphone like that, and I feel like I peaked real bad.
You did.
Yeah, sorry about that. You got a problem, Billy Joel. There, you can cut that, put that in.
We'll fix it in post. Is that the whole dream?
That's it. Yeah, make it that what you will. I don't know.
So it sounds like the spaghetti was like the center of the stress a lot of the time. Or was it like Billy Joel was the center of the stress?
Spaghetti didn't feel like a bad thing. And I don't really know how Billy Joel became a bad thing. Didn't make a lot of sense to me. It just felt like
crippling spaghetti addiction.
Yeah, I felt like I was getting like increasingly annoyed by the presence of Billy Joel, you know? And it was all tied in with spaghetti stuff.
When you said that there was a series of spaghetti mishaps, do you remember what that was? That was like spaghetti stuff ruining your date with other Olivia, right?
Yeah, I don't think anything actually happened. I think there was like some time jumping, and like I lost time. And so like first date was like classy spaghetti.
Yeah, you said you made
like
made a classy spaghetti.
I made a really good spaghetti and it was a good date, and I was being like a good date that had made a good meal.
I made a classy spaghetti.
With the spicy meatball.
How many years?
And then the second date.
How many years before that voice is not okay to do?
Is it still okay to do? I thought I was being offensive.
Well, I started it, but no, I think it's totally fine to make it a classy spaghetti.
I'm coming for you, Italians. I'm coming for you. That was not in good nature.
No.
And then the second date, it just felt like everything, like it was like not a good date, and like I was definitely like off-putting, or like something like I don't know. It felt like I had like come in there with like real wild spaghetti energy.
Real Billy
and
Joel
Olivia
vibes.
was like, what the fuck is this? What is going on here? Yeah, I was rolling in with like Billy Joel vibes and having to explain why I don't remember what exactly the conflict was.
Did you slurp the sketty too fast and it like did that thing where it whips around your mouth and hits you with marinara lipstick?
Yeah, that must have been it.
There really was like spaghetti at every turn, though.
Yes,
in the stream.
I kept stumbling into spaghetti, like without any plan.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, I would just be going about my day, and then spaghetti would be there.
Yeah, I've never understood why that would why Italian food in general is like a date food. Or
I don't either, but Olivia's been into Italian places lately. We've gone to a couple, and they're good. But
no, it's
but I also make pretty good Italian food.
You do. That's my thing about Italian places is I'm like, I mean, it's good, but pasta I feel like if I'm gonna go out to a restaurant, I want something that feels like hard for me to make.
Yeah,
and I just have a hard time feeling that way about pasta. Even if it's very good pasta, I'm just like, I could probably figure this out.
You know, Italian food is always good. I just don't understand why it's considered high cuisine, because it's like, yeah, it's carbs and butter and garlic. Of course it's awesome.
Right.
But
I mean, it has been delicious when we've gone to the couple of fancy Italian places.
Why is it so much more expensive than Mexican food?
Yeah,
it's the same concept.
What does that say about us as a culture? Why do we value Italian food so much more?
Yeah, because it's the same. The culture of like food marketing is very weird and interesting.
And why is it that pasta is able to like transcend like the trashiness to be like elevated high cuisine, but like there is a hard limit on how seriously people are willing to take pizza. Pizza is like not a food that people are ever going to be like, oh, what a fancy, classy pizza I'm having right now.
Yeah,
it can be good. It can be like a high end one. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, like I would argue that spaghetti is the trashiest pasta, though.
It's just a different shape,
like,
though.
We're talking like spaghetti and marinara sauce, right? Like maybe meatballs.
But that's only trashy because you associate it with your mom making bad spaghetti.
No, my mom made great spaghetti.
Or whatever.
He
but
meant
your
the
mom
royal
made spaghetti. Yeah. My mom made bad spaghetti is what I was talking about.
Well, yeah, I also have a thing with red sauce where I find it incredibly boring because that was like one of the only things one of my siblings would eat. So we had that a lot.
Some people have like a favorite pasta. You know what I mean? Like they like penne more than rigatoni. It's just a shape. Like I guess it holds the sauce
favorite
slightly differently.
I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Pasta shapes matter.
I have heard arguments for the difference between pasta shapes. I don't know that I've like strongly experienced the difference, but I'm sure there's like some subtle things happening there that go over my head.
Yeah. If it's the same sauce and the same meat or whatever ingredients, I don't understand.
You gotta do a taste test.
We got real derailed here.
Yeah.
No, this is fine. We don't need to dig into this.
Victor's purposely misleading us here.
You guys dream about anything recently? Any other Billy Joel dreams coming up for anybody?
Okay, so your feelings about Billy Joel. Not really a fan, but don't have like strong feelings?
Yeah, no strong feelings.
Okay.
It feels like one of those musicians where it's like I'm aware of them.
Yeah.
But I don't. I've never cared enough to like form an opinion.
He's Piano Man, right?
Yeah, and that is an annoying song.
Yeah,
that is a bad song.
I have a funny story about that song, but I can save it for
Let's
later.
hear it.
Well,
Victor?
I was in a band and we went to a karaoke night and our violin player's husband was the DD and his name was Dan. And I was like, hey guys, when Dan shows up, let's do Piano Man together as a group, but let's sing it as Piano Dan. And so I just remember.
Oh, that's better than what I was thinking. I was thinking like Deano Man. No, that's where I went.
So your brain went first. You're normally the
decent writer. I don't know.
You're normally the master of these kinds of jokes. Victor, for the listeners, the intro and outro to our show is different every time with like, it's usually some kind of quip. Most of the good ones are Victor. So Deano Man is a real letdown.
Yeah. Sorry, I failed you.
It's okay. Zach made a bad joke earlier, I think.
Oh, at least one.
I'll think of one by the end.
No, yeah, we'll just take turns. No, I just remember Dan sitting cross-armed at the bar, just sober and over it. Well, me and all my drunk friends just like arms around each other. Sing us a song at the piano, Dan. He was so pissed. It was hilarious.
That sounds like a good time. I don't know why you had a problem with that.
So, lukewarm feelings on Billy Joel.
All right, let's dig into some symbols here. I think obviously spaghetti is one we should look at. And I believe we've looked at it before.
Maybe, yeah. It's overwhelmingly...
Because it's like...
It's pretty positive.
Sophistication. I remember us talking about how... Oh, yeah, because my mom had a spaghetti dream. And I remember us talking about like spaghetti in the toilet is a specific thing in the dream Bible.
Really?
Okay, I'm going to read the spaghetti
Oh, you got
entry.
it? Okay.
To dream of spaghetti represents feelings about a situation being wonderful, about being complicated, that's beautiful the way it is.
That sentence was spaghetti.
A situation works out nice with why it's complicated. A complex or tangled situation that you find preferable to fixing. A situation that is beautifully a mess that doesn't have to fixed or complained about. Respecting yourself with why a situation is best for why it isn't the best.
What the fuck?
Respecting yourself, enjoying never wanting to untangle a difficult situation. Confusing or chaotic experiences that are too wonderful or special to draw attention, any need to fix them.
See, this is definitely one where they were drunk, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Positively dreaming about spaghetti represents an enjoyment of doing something difficult, enjoying applying intelligent experience or sophisticated methods of problem solving, feeling good being served a mess, clean for money.
What? Feeling good being served.
Feeling good being served a mess, clean for money.
That's not a sentence.
Served a mess is in quotes, like it's like a common turn of phrase, but
Oh man,
I've never
I
heard
got
that.
served a real mess this weekend, you guys.
Negatively, I would say was spaghetti negative?
I don't feel that I had like negative feelings about spaghetti.
I'm going to read it anyway. Negatively, spaghetti may reflect overdoing, thinking a complicated situation is beautiful the way it is. Not complaining about a complicated situation because you prefer it without believing that someone else might not prefer it. Not wanting to piss anyone off that might not think of your situation as complicated as you do. Your anxiety about not being careful about showing your appreciation for something wonderful you fear losing. Fear of losing your job if you aren't careful about respecting complications at your workplace that you are forced to put up with. Alternatively, spaghetti may be a sign that you find yourself entangled in a messy relationship situation that you prefer not to fix or complain about.
How embarrassing would it be if it turned out that this website was just like generated by like a 2005 Chinese AI? It's just like scrambling words together and churning them out into semi-coherent sentences.
I'd be impressed because it's been so on point so many times.
Like those Russian spam bots that we used to get emails from at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if the whole website is a Russian spam bot?
Always a good place to stop.
Well, so, okay. That last sentence.
To dream of a toilet filled with spaghetti?
No.
Oh.
Entangled in a messy relationship situation that you prefer not to fix or complain about. I'm just thinking that like you were on dates in this dream, so like it kind of like maybe it is a relationship thing. Are we good?
Let's take it off air. No, we're good. We're good. I don't remember feeling any negative feelings towards my dates. The first date was awesome. And the second date, I mean, it was with you, so it was fine. No, the second one, it felt like our level of like closeness where like even though there was like
okay.
a weird thing happening, it was like I didn't feel like threatened by it.
Okay, so it wasn't like a first date feeling.
No, it felt the second one. It felt like a person I was in a relationship with.
Gotcha.
The first date, it may have been the same person. I just don't really remember it feeling connected to anything. Does that make sense? It was just like a dream, like fucked up cognitive thing where it's like it doesn't feel like the two were in conflict or there was any like it didn't feel like the plot was like, oh, I went on this secret date with this person and then I was actually dating this other person. It just felt like grocery store date, grocery store date, and then me kind of like wandering and drinking from a water fountain and then getting assaulted by Billy Joel.
To dream of dating a person represents an aspect of your personality that you feel good getting to know before anything more serious happens. Feelings about experimenting with choices or options, trying something you've never tried before.
I briefly like chatted with Olivia about this like a couple days ago. I told her this dream. And I remember thinking at the time that like the spaghetti entry kind of felt like maybe it was connected to like impending baby stuff. I mean, at least like abstractly. I don't know that it felt that way in the dream, but like abstractly, I feel like when I think of like feeling good about a messy situation, it's like, well, yeah, things are messy. We got like, you know, a little bit of chaos right now, and things are going to get even more chaotic in a couple of months when we're holding a newborn. But like, I'm feeling good about all those things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that at least is the most direct thing I can think of in my life that feels like what the spaghetti entry is describing.
Yeah, but what does it mean? I mean, that makes perfect sense. What does it mean for Billy Joel to be obsessed with spaghetti?
Yeah, I don't know
and a persistent
how
factor
Billy Joel,
in your life.
I don't know how Billy Joel plays into this or why he was hanging
Gestalt him.
around Target.
Gestalt Billy Joel.
Okay, I'll try.
So I'll
Read me the.
take a pause
read me
and
the
listen to
questions.
Piano Man.
Yeah,
We can get into the headspace of BJ, old Beegers.
I am. That's a good idea. I'm gonna play a little Billy Joel in my headphones.
Okay, yeah, no, don't play it on the pod. We can't afford those rights.
But do take a minute to get into character.
Okay, I'll stop Googling Billy Joel songs. Okay. Let's turn the lights out. Light some Billy Joel scented incense.
Or marinara.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right. Let me get serious here. I don't know how this is gonna go, but let's try it. Let's go.
Okay. Take your time with it if you want. My purpose is.
Okay. My first thought was here. That's it. I think I was picturing the grocery store. Yeah. I don't know.
My goal is.
To stay.
My biggest fear is.
Leaving.
I love.
You.
I hate.
I'm not getting anything.
I desire or wish.
Yeah, I'm still not, nothing's coming up for that. I don't know that I was able to get there, but.
Those were some interesting answers.
And to be fair, that seemed like a really hard character to embody.
Well, and it's just like the things that did come up for you were all really consistent and not what I would have expected from that, like, chaotic spaghetti obsessed Billy Joel.
No,
like, it was just like totally like it felt totally unconnected from where I was.
Yeah, when she said I love, I 100% expected you to say spaghetti.
But yeah, so you said my purpose, and the word that came to you was here, and you elaborated and said the grocery store. And then the goal was to stay, and then you fear leaving, and then I love you. But I'm curious about the grocery store now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who were you?
I wouldn't have even thought. Yeah.
Who were you thinking of when you said you?
Aimed at me.
Okay.
Me, Victor.
Because you have spaghetti on your hand?
Oh.
I desire to lick it off.
As like the guy who writes these like self-loathing songs, like I like the idea that there's just a little spaghetti obsessed Billy Joel inside there who loves you.
It's a little spaghetti man.
Maybe that's what this dream is trying to tell you, to like write a silly song.
Maybe.
To dream of a grocery store represents decisions being made that help to sustain you for the short term. Keeping a good situation going by addressing your short-term needs. Confidence about knowing what you can delay confronting a problems or delay an unpleasant situation from occurring. Feeling that it's easy to deal with your problems just for now. There's negatively, a grocery store may be a sign that you are considering dishonest behavior as a method of temporarily keeping a problem under control. Lies or deception in order to delay being honest. Feeling good not having to face your problems for a short while longer. A sign that long-term solutions to problems are not being considered or that you continually keep putting your problems off for later. Short-term solutions that cost you long-term happiness. Alternatively, dreaming of a grocery store may reflect anxiety issues related to health issues with food sensitivities. Anxiety about not being able to buy the special food or health products you need.
That's all under negatively?
That was alternatively. Negatively was like putting off your problems.
Right. So the overarching theme is short-term solutions. Short-term
solutions, yeah.
Yeah,
that actually
sustenance.
That does resonate.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels like I've expressed a couple of times on the pod, like I have a level of like dissatisfaction with certain elements of my life, right? Like mostly like career stuff, you know? And part of me does feel like I'm like putting off changes or focusing on things that like, I don't know, I tend to put my energy into stuff that feels like long shot, big reward stuff instead of doing like the slow trudging, like kind of pain in the ass work that needs to happen to make slow trudging incremental progress towards life changes, you know? I'm instead like interested in like shiny projects that if they work out would be like really game changing, you know? And I feel like an internal conflict there a little bit. Sometimes I feel like, well, am I doing those things as a way to avoid change, right? Am I doing that stuff to stay in stasis? And like it's like an opioid of like soothing myself from making change, because maybe I fear change or something. And so I'm not doing the thing where I like am doing the stuff that I know will get me somewhere else in the short or in the long term or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that checks out with the other two that you answered, being the goal being to stay here and the fear leaving here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And he loves you.
Yeah, because I do think that impulse does come with like a little bit of like a self-acceptance, right? You know, like it is okay to be in the place that I'm in, you know? But yeah, no, that just, that entry felt like it connected with my desire to change some things in my life and those things not changing for a long time and how I sit with that, you know?
Well, and so then like, I feel like that gave us like a little key into the rest of the stream. So like now you can look at how you were feeling about Billy Joel in the dream. You were like annoyed with him or weirded out by him, right?
Yeah, it felt like there was like an upping the ante of like, oh, that's silly to a degree where it was like a problem, right? And I don't know, if the spaghetti is like about all of the like complex joys of life or whatever, it may be like in some way about how like all the stuff that that matters, right? Like our life together, us having a family together, all of the like little social things that we get into, like, you know, like all the things that are like what you're doing when you're not focused on like a career thing or whatever, right? Like I get a lot of joy out of that, and that is an important place to put my energy, right? But if I feel on some level that like focusing on those things is like keeping me in a place of like stagnation or something, you know, like in areas of my life that I could be more active in or whatever. Like I said, I think I told you, like, well, there's some stuff that, like some of that practical stuff is like, oh, I think I want to do this practical thing that'll help me make like a life change, but I'm going to wait until we're past like the newborn stuff. And I think that makes sense. But it is still me using like the messy spaghetti of our life to like further kick down the road, like the practical, slow kind of pain in the ass changes over the shiny, fun stuff that I'm actually interested in. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all kind of tied together because, I mean, right off the bat, this sounded like it was a fatherhood dream. And then you got into career stuff. And now the more you process this, it sort of sounds like it's all connected, which it is, you know.
Yeah.
It makes sense because that, you know, if you can make those practical changes in your career to make you happier, like that's not selfish. That's not entirely divided from your family. Like it would help your family. You know what I mean?
Right. Or like there's no reason to choose between those things. Like I can do both of those things.
Right. There might not be enough hours in the day right now, but.
Right. But that doesn't mean long term that there has to be, you know.
So do you think this is a work ambition stream again? Does that like feel true, or are you drawing connections?
I don't think it's necessarily just work, right?
What I feel like I'm hearing you say is that it's kind of maybe not primarily about that, but it has to do with that in, you know, couched in the context of your life and everything that's happening in it right now.
Yeah, you know, I think
I guess all dreams are about everything that's happening in your life, but
yeah, I think that we're all multifaceted people, right? And we all have like wants and needs that are in like different categories of our life, right? And I do feel like there are some ways in which I feel like totally fulfilled, right? Some areas of my life that I feel like are just like solved, I'm good, you know? And then there are other areas of my life where I feel like a desire for more, or a desire for change or growth, or to achieve certain things, or check certain things off check certain boxes or whatever. And I know I, as a person, am more comfortable kind of digging into like well-tread ground, right? It is hard for me to branch out sometimes in ways that would be good for me for like growing and changing, right? And I will use like other things in my life to like good things. Like in this case, I think good things. I'll use good things in my life to put up a barrier between myself and what is scary to me, which is doing new things that feel like they could go wrong or whatever, you know? So I think not just in career stuff, but like in several ways, there's like things I would benefit from like trying to do the hard thing, but instead I do the stuff that is easy or comfortable. I tell myself now is not the time to do the hard things. Now is the time to stay doing the easy and comfortable things, and I'll get around to the hard things when the circumstances change, right? But obviously, I'm just convincing myself to keep doing the thing that like I instinctually want to do, right? So
I think that's pretty human. I think everyone has to push themselves to do things that are uncomfortable. No one's like gung-ho about like doing things that are out of their comfort zone, you know? It's kind of like everyone has to do that. Everyone has to push themselves to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think it's like, it's really not like dark blow up my life kind of stuff. It's just like, you know, it's what it feels like, right? It's like part of me is I'm very happy with the spaghetti, I guess. I'm very comfortable in the grocery store, I guess. But I remember in the dream, it's like I feel like I have to be here. I'm going to be here for a couple of days. I have to be here for a couple of days, but then I get to leave, right? So it's like if you're always telling yourself, okay, I'm doing what I'm doing right now, but just for now. And then down the road, I'm going to be doing something different, you know? Like, it is easy to kind of like check out of your own life by doing that, you know? If you're constantly living in your idea of the future, or in like constantly telling yourself the life you're in is temporary in some way, you know? Like, I mean, it is, but it's like when you're so focused on like where the change is going, or like aspiring to some change, like I've spent a lot of time in like some stasis, right? In certain areas of my life, you know? And I've spent a lot of that time thinking about how I'm not going to be doing that for much longer. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that. It's not like I'm miserable about it, but it's still something I think I need to reckon with.
Well,
you know?
now more than ever, like now, right now, you have a perfect excuse with a child on the way. Like, now would be a really easy time to be like, oh, I shouldn't get into X, Y, or Z because I really need to focus on the change that is imminent, that is definitely happening. And that's valid and true to an extent.
Yeah, and it is true, and it's not a bad thing, but I think possibly, like, I don't know that I feel like I've had like a eureka click with this where like it all has fallen into place and I perfectly know what it means, but like if these symbols are consistent, then like the idea of the spaghetti, like kind of going from something that I'm enjoying or that is a positive thing to like something that's kind of spiraled out of control might stem from an anxiety that I have that I will let like the day-to-day distractions of life and like the thing that's happening now and the joy of becoming a father and all of this other stuff be a permission structure to just perpetually put off things that I would benefit from putting some energy into.
I think that that tracks with the dichotomy between you and Billy Joel, because you're both enjoying the spaghetti, but you were enjoying it to like a reasonable, grounded degree, you know, and then he really loved the spaghetti. So like if like every dream character, he's a part of you, maybe it's reflective of a part of you that feels like, yeah, on the one hand, now is a good time to not get out of my comfort zone because the baby's going to bring me out of my comfort zone anyway, like regardless, and I should focus on that. But maybe Billy Joel is this part of you that's like, yeah, but on the other hand, because the baby is taking you out of your comfort zone anyway, maybe now is actually conversely a really good time to like try something new, you know, because you'll be out of the comfort zone regardless. And you can use that as permission to not change anything else and just focus on the baby, or you can use it as, you know, an open door to working on some new project or whatever you're thinking about branching out to.
Yeah, because I'm of two minds about it, right? Like I do like the idea of becoming a father, kind of it brings some things into focus, right? And on one hand, I feel like now is the time to turn away from the other things and really just focus on like what it's going to be a father, and that it would be stupid or selfish to put my energy into anything else. And that is true in a lot of ways, right? But then there's another part of me that thinks about like, well, who do I want to be as a father when my kid's a little older, like
Right.
old enough to perceive me, when my kid's old enough to look at me and be like, who is my dad? What is my dad like? There are things about myself I want to be different, you know, or like I want to grow and change in service of that. Does that make sense?
It does. And
Yeah.
I think like something that I keep hearing about and reading about, actually I'm reading a book that's like it's like all about entering parenthood as like through a Jungian psychology lens, and it like talks about the process of individuation
Mhm.
as like that your child is going to be, of all the things that could like be a catalyst for that process, like having a child does that more than anything else, because you're constantly met with like opportunities to like reflect and grow and like and work on yourself, and a lot of people when they're faced with that turn away from it, and it's just an opportunity. It's not a guarantee that you're going to grow or change or anything. It's just constant opportunities to reflect and grow. And so I don't know, when you were talking about that, it sounded like you were looking at it as like do I want to, like, who do I want to be for my child? Who do I want to be to my child when my child can perceive me? And also, like, I want to be there and be ever present. And it's like those things can be kind of connected, you know, like that being, and you hear this from people all the time, like being a parent changes them. So like maybe it is that like part of the process of being super involved in your kid's life is going to bring about those changes that you're hoping to see, you know?
Yeah, I hope so.
I think you get to make it that, though. It's like you get to engage with parenthood as an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just up to you how you show up in it for yourself.
Yeah, it's like this is kind of a dumb example, but I feel like it's like it kind of illustrates what I'm talking about. It's like we don't do a lot of camping. We've expressed a desire to be more like camping people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a camping guy right now, but I like the idea of being like a camping dad. I like the idea of like taking our kid out camping and doing like nature stuff with our kid. But it's like, so is becoming a father going to be the reason to push myself to do more camping guy stuff so I can be that version of myself? Or is it going to be, well, I would do that, but because I'm a dad and we're so busy with our day-to-day parent stuff, I never will have the time or the opportunity to do that thing. You know, is it going to be the thing that pushes me to grow in the directions that I want to grow? Or is it going to be the thing that is my permission structure to not grow?
And that's like, yeah. I think everyone's faced with that in that situation. And it's like, it's up to you. Right. It's not about what it's going to be. It's about how you're going to engage with it. Right.
Yeah. And I don't think that was a silly example at all. I think that was a very crystalline, like clear cut example.
Well, thank you.
Cause when you said like, it feels, you know, stupid or selfish to like pursue a new thing or like step out of your comfort zone with the kid on the way, I guess like it depends on what it is and how you approach it. Right.
Sure. Yeah. Good. Not a good time to become like a touring musician, right?
Right.
Not a good time to chase that dream, right. You know,
but like camping, that is absolutely a thing that would affect how our child sees you and their childhood, right? Like,
yeah, it's a direct impact.
That directly impacts how you're seen by your kid and like the experiences that you have with your kid and like, yeah. So let's go camping.
We're so busy. Thank you for listening to The Jung and the Restless.
You can follow us on Instagram at The Jung and the Restless Pod and submit your dreams for interpretation to thejungandtherestlesspod at gmail.
And as we always say,
at least nobody got hurt.
You a tiger lily on the moon, and maybe someday we could go there together. For now the clock is screaming, welcome home. Dream forever, dream forever.
That's a Crunchwrap Supreme.
That's a Nachos Bel Grande right there.
All right, I'm killing it.
That's a cheesy Gordita Crunch.